Welcome to Event-Vods. Watch the full game of today's LEC 2025 matchup.
I think that's really where I think some people were eyeing up KC, saying with this roster, maybe they could end up hitting that. But I think for GIANTX, people were less convinced as to where they're going to land. But going 3-0 here would be a great start for them. But also, the only time in the organization's history, both GIANTX and Excel, that they have opened week 1 with a 3-0 win. So, a lot to play for here on either side.
What a turnaround and be. What a setup to the new season as well. For the blue wall as well, I'll add in as well. Now, in pick ban, we know it's Kalista bans. We know it's Rumble bans. Skarner always has to be taken away. He's been let through twice, and I fear never again after how well it's done. But Dagda on the other side, as Victor goes, thankfully as well.
That was the other one I was kind of keeping my eye out for. I think Rel is also just not going to be banned, but quite high priority between these two teams as well. And then it comes to things like how heavy do you want to prioritize those 80 carries? Is it a Varus ban? Is it a Corky ban? To try and set yourself up, or do you just want to look for the trade on either side?
Narco's taken away. Remember, things like Vi as well are always on the back of my mind. As Sejuani, something these teams have already played too. Especially Yike, as I look in at his stats. Now, final ban. Give it to us so we can find this first pick, because there is a lot open right now.
I think you are right, though, with the Maokai ban. It does say that GX are probably trying to set up for the Vi. So it's an either, do you ban the Vi, which is I think what the discussion is, or do you go for something different? So this is basically saying, hey, we're going to get rid of Lots Jax, which is something he's been comfortable on the URLs, to basically say, hey, if you take the Corky, we're going to take the Vi on the opposite side, or at least have that trade of these two power picks. And we can also answer with either the Air Zero for the Kalist or the Varus, which I think he looked great on yesterday.
Or if we look at other power picks, I mean, Kana's Jace the other day was so good.
True.
And that was only yesterday, right? But as you said, so was Kalist's Varus. So a good power pick for Casey, not only for them, but in the meta. As Yike always hovers an Ivy. That's just his thing, isn't it? I still need to learn the context behind that, but...
It's his girlfriend's pick, as far as I know, but I think I think the thing that's impressed me the most about KC is how well they've rallied around Yike in the early stages. Like, you look at yesterday versus Movistar, Koi the day before as well. Whenever Yike shouts, go, KC immediately rally around him. So a pick like the Vi here has really slotted into that wheelhouse of we want to go for this early game pressure. We want to try and play for him being that engage tool. It has been on the Maokai and Sejuani, but another tool that enables that. Closer will respond with the Sejuani on the opposite side, though, which can do well trying to dissuade some of those early game aggressions.
Again, EU priority here. If you're watching other regions, like you'll see as they go through Fearless in their best of 3/best of 5s, they get to this Sejuani eventually, but EU still prioritizes the front-to-back comp Stagda, showing their head as, of course, the Cassante fits in nicely.
And now becomes a question, what does Kana want to go for? Jace could definitely be an answer. You've already got one poke champion picked up. Could go for a second one.
Well said.
If you want to try and mix things up there, and a decent answer into the Cassante. But mid lane, also an option for Vladdy, who honestly has been fantastic as well. Really has come into his own in the second year here. And it feels like, nearly, to be honest, like the second year for a lot of these LEC guys has just been fantastic. It seems like a little bit of a buff for our rosters.
True. There's just something that goes on behind the scenes, isn't it? It's going to be the Ambessa instead, by the way. So, a Bruiser V-Tank in top side. Well, could be a flex Dagda. I will put that in there just in case.
Yeah, could easily go in towards the mid lane, but it does mean you generally want the Rumble in top. With the Rumble already banned, this says to me that Ambessa is going to be going up towards that top side.
Sure.
And now, just trying to make sure on KC side that they get rid of any of those flex picks, or sorry, those mages in the bottom side to make sure the Corky can't be used as a flex pick towards Jackie's in the mid lane. So Noah going to have his pool pinched a wee bit here as we wait to see exactly, for me, what Vladdy wants to try and bring out in the mid lane. The Talia has looked good for him, and I don't think he can go back towards the Yone that we saw yesterday, but yeah, I'm curious to see exactly what he wants to answer with here.
I mean, Dagda, I'm going to start throwing out some options, and you tell me if I'm getting hotter or colder, because we've seen a bit of Talia so far as well that could sync up with something like the Vi for a strong mid-jungle pairing. Aurora was taken away, so you're right, it would have been nice too. I'm thinking about other things like Orianna, but how does it function here for sides like KC?
It's not bad. Like, it does give you a lot of control in the mid lane, and also you have that public execution or the cease and desist to immediately look for that shockwave combo and try and burst someone out. But I think, just looking for some sort of protection. Azir, I think, is probably the shout we'll see from Vladdy. Just to be like, hey, we get that backside protection for the Varus as well, especially with Ariband. Yeah, I think Azir is the prio that I'd go for here.
I wonder if banning the Sylas shows that they were they're willing to pick support on 4 here and wait for the flex Dagda, because supports aren't picked at all. We see Silas ban when it's a lot of Alistar and things like the Nautilus as well. You could dismiss that because, again, we just come back to the pairings with the Vi, right? That seems to be more important for KC about how they set up mid-jungle and then leaving support for 5.
Yeah, it does also, when you look at GIANTX, they have a potential to set up for dive here with the Sejuani and the K'Sante as well, so just trying to limit that, but you can always pivot into something a little bit different here. I see the Yone hover. I'm not expecting this to actually be locked in because you just have way too much AD damage if you're trying to go for that. So my eyes would probably be something like I was going to say an Orianna, because I don't think Galio even fixes a problem here of kind of moving away from a very AD heavy composition, or at least a lot of that up from damage being that.
Like, then what do we start considering as Seraphine support? But then you need engage, right? If this happens, as you said, a lot of AD damage in the kit. Sejuani base AP. That's it. So right now, do you facilitate this in support? I mean, there needs to be engaged with this, right? It's a front to back.
Yeah, but I'm just shocked that they're going for that heavy of an AD composition. Like, the value you can get from plated steel caps, especially if you end up getting feats of strength, the AD shield that you get on those upgraded boots as well is just going to give you so much value on KC's side. So I'm kind of surprised that they ended up going towards this, but we're going to have to see if it ends up working out, because you can round out your composition here with something a little bit, at least engage heavy. I do agree for Giant. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this for GIANTX. I feel like you're heavily reliant on your Sejuani and Yone to be your engage tools. I love the Renata pick here for Targamas because it's just that anti-engage and making sure that you're going to be able to keep Kalista safe in these dive scenarios. And there's only really the Mbessa and the Vi that are going to be diving in, but both of those ultimates are unstoppable. So it doesn't really matter in the Poppy's grand scheme of things. And it's only when they get in already onto these key targets that it's going to make a difference. So I'd say I'd favor KC's composition here, even when it comes to a lot of those side lanings as well.
Well, I mean, interesting for GIANTX. Damage issues there. But let's find out how it paces out now. Dagda, I've been told that there's a bit of a delay getting into this game. From my understanding, that there was a slight issue with draft.
Yeah, I did see people over at Noah's PC, so I'm not entirely sure what was happening there. So we'll let you know as soon as we can. But yeah, we'll just be taking a quick pause before we do get into the game.
A side note, you can see there's a pause at the bottom. We've got reports that one of GX's clients experienced issues on stage. It's resolved, but the players now just have to finalize their settings. And then we'll be getting to our last game of
a kind of real notch in the belt for them, to show that they can also take down some of the teams that are contending for that top spot.
Well, an exciting end to the first week. No matter who wins this, we finally end a game. Thank you for your patience. GIANTX versus KC, the battle for 3-0. The battle of Closer against his team that, you know, he came to the LEC on Dagda. And remember, when he came into KC, he started becoming a real part of that team. I feel like Yikes so far on KC has started to already become a real big part of this squad, as against G2 especially. He slapped them in the faces. I haven't heard this much support for GIANTX or XL in a what, have you?
I am seeing a lot of the Movistar Koi jerseys in the GIANTX one as well, so it is definitely going back to a little bit of France v Spain in this one. But yeah, I agree. I think I've really liked the way KC have rallied around Yike. I was kind of talking about it in Champ Select, but oftentimes we're seeing that it's Yike who's making the call to say, hey, can you come and cross shift to protect me, or let's look for those skirmishes yesterday. And it really was a showcase against Movistar Koi of how well they're operating in the system of supporting him. Just keep my eyes on what Khan is up to. Yeah, so just with the lane swap, he's just going to come into mid and help Vladdy push it out. But I do think that early game shot calling is definitely something he's brought with him from G2. A rookie that came in and operating that system is going to have learned a heap in that time, and he's now bringing that to KC. But on the opposite side, I think Closer is also a great voice for GIANTX. We've seen how much better their mid game has gotten at times thanks to it, but Yike, what a spot out.
Yeah, Permafrost comes in. Closer's going to do a lot of work here with Aftershock as well. Yike burns down a bit. That's the helpful red buff. Remember, almost. Oh, that was a 1 HP smite, but Closer gets away with it.
Yeah, which is huge because you're essentially going to be splitting the map here. So and now Jun hitting level 2 can actually come and help out closer if needs be on any of these other camps. So it's only going to be Yike now who's actually down 1. So nice little lead for closer in the early game.
Look, the allocation here, Dagdo. I just want to point to the screen that Kana's walking this out, not going to teleport. The wave crashes in. Noah and Jun getting the shove here while Lot defends first turret.
There you go. He's moving up towards that top side there.
So nice.
Make sure he's all right. But he doesn't really have the support. So while he managed to get some of the experience in mid, you can see he has to wait for Targamas to come up and join. Jun and Noah are doing the smart thing, though. They're going to deny him access to the turret. Closer going to queue over the wall, make sure he's in position. And now Kana's just kind of left unemployed. He doesn't really have a job anymore because he can't get to the tower.
Targamas comes in to help out, but again, it's a wave late as the next one crashes in. Close is going to help out as well. Yike is pathing up towards top. After that invade, he had to clear his whole bottom side camp. So if you want to use the word tempo, it feels like right now KC don't have their jungler supporting, but they do have him running.
Yeah, and they're losing so much on this top side. Kana's getting nothing, whereas Lot is getting the entire lot in that bottom side. Now Yike is here, but half HP. Kana will barely get some of the CS on the end of it. And half a play is essentially gone on that top side as well. He's not in a good spot.
He got 1 CS from that wave, Dagda.
Yeah. But
So
it's the experience as well. He's level
really is.
2.5. Lots about to tick over to 4, and now Yike going to fall behind again.
Losing his own jungle now. Closer doesn't have a smite available, so he's going for the kill. A bit of health gain, but Yike, a permafrost flashing out because under turret's the only safe place to be. Vladdy's now coming to help out, but he's low on mana too. A flash, shove into the wall. Targamas at level 2, he's matched. Permafrost, no blast cone for you. And Closer seals the deal.
So now you're getting the experience on your top laner. You're getting the kills as well. And look at the camps that have been taken. 1, 2, 3, 4, all coming through for Closer as well. So he's now going to be able to move back over onto his top side. Sorry, I actually clicked a couple of too many, but yeah. Closer is going to be able to get back onto his own side of the map as well, where his blue is up, where his wolves are up, and make sure he's in a good spot. And that's what KC are expecting. But Vladdy isn't expecting Closer to come in behind him. There is an ward, though.
There is a ward. He's trying to bait it out because Targamas is there, but Permafrost, again, it's easy with melee. Vladdy's going to die! Jackies gets the kill, and that's why Sejuani and melee is so damn strong.
This early game has been spectacular from GIANTX, and Yike now going to move into this bot side to try and get some of these camps back, but they've had to invest Kalista into the mid lane. They're losing so much on the map.
Again, GIANTX in this early game, it's already been said, and you hit the nail on the head, that Closer got so much out of the camps that Yike was playing second fiddle, but it leads into the kills. And this early game gold lead now 1K. Kalista's going up top, looking to match Noah and Jun here with his Ambessa by his side. You see Targamas is sticking around mid alongside Vladdy for the time being, but we also got to track where the EXP is going, as Kalista will absorb about 3 minutes on his lonesome for now.
Yike can respond by getting Dragon on this bottom side, but it's nice to get Dragon, but it's a lot of time invested by Yike onto this, whereas Closer is going to continue to farm from the top side. So what is at the moment an equal trade is going to be now Closer getting his top side camps, moving in towards his bot side to get Raptors and Krugs, whereas you don't really have the luxury of a huge amount of these up for Yike. His bottom side at least is starting to respawn, but the timing that Yike is investing when he's already behind is going to be a little sad. So Yike going to be late to the level 6, which could have pretty big implications for something like the Void Grubs or for any upcoming plays if they try to match up.
But you know it does have good implications for the Void Grub sector. That chunk there onto Kalist as well. GIANTX already at top side of the map as Yike is clearing out that bot side again. But note that the chunk that came through from Noah means he can push into the turret. Jun can hover in Fog of War. Targamas only just got level 3, by the way. Also worth mentioning when we had a big discussion about experience. But GIANTX are going to secure all 3 grubs, no contest.
So KC need Yike now to support them on this top side because they know that Closer's going to be up here. There's the Void Grubs taken. Going to try and contest the respawn of these Raptors as well, thanks to Jun, and also then the push in mid coming through from Jackie. So nicely done. That early kill helping out massively on the mid control for Jackie.
Having the timers as well. Vladdy backs off. He knows Jun is just moving around with his jungler, but Closer even on a ward. He's spotted out taking those Raptors yet again. And that gives pressure to Jackies once more.
Yeah, and the hard part is it's really difficult to defend this because Targamas has to take the slow route into his own jungle because you always have that quick access for Closer to move back up towards his top side and potentially gate Targamas from syncing up with Kalist and looking for a dive on wave. So now KC in a very precarious situation, and you can already see the gold lead really starting to open up at the top of your screen.
And you can see, I mean, with that level lead, not only that, but the fact that this guy is getting really good trades off as Jackie's stopping Flatty. What a nuisance, Dagda.
He really wanted to get that reset on the cannon wave, but going to be denied it, so going to have to wait another minute and a half before he can really look for that reset. Yike going to help to cover, it looks like, to try and push out. Does have the TP to get back in, but Closer's here again.
And he's got ulti. Guess what? Yike does not. Fate sealed on top of that as well. Flatty might die, but a good seismic shot back. Jackie's also ready to go back until... No cigar, no Q connecting from Jackie's to get Flatty down in the end. Good defensive play from KC.
But again, you can see that they've actually committed towards that mid lane with Kalist as well. So you have nobody here for this push to be matched. So that tower going to be under threat as well, which means that now Noah going to start to open up with some of these turret plates. Kalist now trying to move back up towards that top side, but we'll be a little bit late to the party. And even if you don't, actually, Noah, is he looking for more?
He is indeed. Level 6 for both. Chains of Corruption here, but it's cleansed away immediately. Foster's Bomb didn't connect it.
Oh, the
dodges away from the Q. This 1v1 heating up. The Valkyrie damage is massive now. And Kalist knows it. Respect Flash.
And now you've got nothing for a potential Void Grub fight that could be coming up with no Flash for Kalist. So this is a bit of a disaster again for KC. They really want to try and find some success, but GX are just not letting up on the pressure.
I love it. It's been a fun early game so far, and it's an early game that for GIANTX are leading closer and closer towards that 2k gold lead. I'm also noting Dagda 145 top left. Those are the grubs spawning. 3 already to GX, just to remind you all. Also going to keep you tracking on that first item as, what a surprise, a lot closer. Building the same here in this early game, these two tanks.
So I think the saving grace for KC is that Flatty's Flash is about to be back up. So I imagine what GIANTX want to try and do is look for a pick before the play at Void Grubs, see if they can find someone who's a bit vulnerable, and then you can just take the Void Grubs for 6 and not have to worry about things. Flatty having Flash makes it difficult to try and play around it on the mid lane, so I imagine they're going to try and look for Kalist, but at least Kalist having the cleanse and having Targamas there with the bailout gives him a little bit more wiggle room, and you can see Yike is aware of this as well. He's playing up towards this top side, just making sure he can support KC in case Closer shows up as that ultimate's about to come off cooldown.
It's quite long, but 10 seconds on that cooldown, by the way. Just about. As Jackie scouts out, there's the power of Yone with the Soul Unbound. Just sees that Raptor's there, gets a Q2. And Flatty as well, just making sure there's no follow-up from Closer. Unending Despair. That's what that item is.
It's a very good.
Yeah, it was a lot stronger before we came into S25.
We got lucky that it got knocked down a few pegs, but KC still trying to see if they can keep control over this top side. Closer again moving up here. Noah looks like he's going to try and go for the reset here. But I think, yeah, you just kind of go for the Void Grubs. Try and keep control here. Again, look for that pick. Jackie's has the teleport if he needs to come back to lane. So just trying to see if you could get some decent damage down before this objective spawns.
Behind enemy lines ward there for Jun as well, if you're wondering. The new part of the rune. 4 hits for the auto, if you haven't seen it already. Just that extra time on lens can be quite annoying as good seismic shove here from Flatty. Grubs have also spawned though. That's more important to focus your attention up here where Closer has already begun.
It's just going to be a trade. Yike isn't even interested in it. He's going to immediately move over towards the dragon. So you can kind of tell they were a little nervous with Kalist's Flash being down about trying to take some sort of fight. And even the push that Noah's continuously had on that top, so about entering into this pit. But it does mean you're going to have a lot of pressure now if Jackie's is able to get on towards a tower or Noah is able to get some pressure down. But yeah, actually.
Backing away.
Yeah.
No mid-pro.
Jun and Jackie's just getting enough pressure in that mid lane on towards Flatty to now shove Yike away. So they're not even getting the dragon. They're getting nothing at the moment for KC.
I guess turret plating top, but you're right, that's kind of it. At least Targamas has a bit of demolish here, so there will be some gold going over to the duo lane of KC, which is very well needed, considering how this game started. But look at Jackie's now as well. As he gets this shove in, pings are going down to the dragon, which would secure the feat.
This is sick. So Lot stopped the reset on Kalist. He won't actually get the kill, but it means that they can't move Kalist down onto this bot wave. I think what KC are trying to do is Dragon into immediate dive onto the bot lane. Yike is here to help, but Ambessa is out of position. There's no Varus here. So it's only Yike who's trying to hold on to this bot side turret at the moment.
Power of XL, huh? GIANTX, great early game flash. Yike tries to buffer it. He does so well, actually, but here's closer. As easy as that, as Noah dunks down the ball.
That was so well called by GX. Not stopping that reset was so important for that play, because Yike was trying to see if he could get behind and sneak in to pick off Noah, but now they're not really in position, so the kill goes across, plates go across, and now Kana wants to see if he can get a little
How
more.
far does it go? It's an all-out, but the ulti, weird, if I say so, is that's ulti for ulti.
Yeah, Lot just manages to dodge away over the top of it, but still GX very much in control of this game. Now, next objective is going to be 3.5 minutes, so it's essentially going to be teams seeing where they can try and put their pressure down. Not taking a good chunk of damage from Kana, but you can already see where that next game plan from GIANTX is. Closer, bottom side, Jun, bottom side, Noah opening up here as well. And with these resets, I actually think you can look for the stop here. Kali's going to be interrupted.
That was nearby, but maybe too far out of range. Just being a nuisance here with the boost of swiftness and the moon plate. So he's moving fast right now as GIANTX in this early game. You know, Dagger said it before, it's a great state because every single lane right now, even including supports, holds a gold lead. Closer, no surprise with that early jungle invade with how good he's been at syncing up with the solo laners. But seeing GIANTX in this early game, I mean, I think they talked about it on desk, and I'm not sure, I apologize to GB, Nomera, and Law, if it was KC or GX, but I think from what I've seen of GX, they've been such a great, like, constituted roster. They've been working together so nicely for a roster that's pulling apart pieces from Fnatic, that's pulling in Lot from ERLs, that's bringing closer in from KC. It's lining up so nicely when maybe it has no business lining up.
Well, I think the biggest question for me was not the talent that's on this roster.
No.
Like, we've seen good performance from literally every player on this roster.
Yep.
Maybe Lost was a big question mark coming in from EMEA Masters, but
Geo, yeah.
the problem was the mid game for Noah and Jun. They looked lost on Fnatic. Fnatic as a whole looks a little lost in the mid game. Jackie's was getting caught out, overextended in the mid game, and I think that's why I really appreciated Closer being added to this roster, because maybe that doesn't happen.
It does not.
Yeah,
but he's out.
But I think this was where Closer was kind of the thing that leveled up this, was if he can be the shot caller, can give a direction in the mid game to these players, I think that's the best thing you can hope for. And he has had a ton of experience, both in the Turkish League, now also going over towards LCS as well on teams like 100 Thieves. So this just really rounded out that potential for this roster.
He brought direction to KC last year. That's what we noticed towards the end of the year. Our roster started scaling up well, just like they're scaling now. For what you can see of KC, moving towards bot is all about trying to defend this turret, it seems, as Jackie's just steps up, using the 6 grubs to do a bit of harm. Close is also here in case this turns into a dive.
Yeah, I thought they were going to try and use Noah's advantage to crack open this bot side turret, but with the Blade of the Rune King hit for Jackie's, they're just like, cool, Noah wins mid push. Let's just immediately move down to this bottom side. Kana getting nothing.
Hate shield that.
Yeah. But now it's just constant pressure because, again, Corki can clear these waves so efficiently. It's just Closer and Jun working in tandem to constantly support Jackie's. Jun, though, going to be interrupted here, so a little slower in the play, but I don't think it matters too much in the grand scheme of things.
No, it does not. Side note, 35 seconds, Herald spawns topside. Dragon, 1 minute 30. It is a Chemtech Soul this game. But also, whatever that's worth. TP going to be used top. This is Lot coming in to defend that topside turret. But note what's happening on the map. KC just reset and Dagda. I think that bot side turret might open up a bit here with a fast push from Jackie.
They can take this so incredibly quickly with the 6 Void Grubs, but I think they're kind of happy to just look for the trade. They haven't spotted anyone from KC, so that's why Jackie's hasn't immediately started to hit the tower.
Right.
And wants to wait and see exactly what's happening before he commits to anything. Because there is always a world where there's Yike sitting in behind, back in the brushes. He gets ulted and they get a trade for the Rift Herald. So now I think Jun just spotted out there, so the GIANTX going to look to contest on towards Rift Herald.
The advantage for KC, by the way, as Kana has that leg up, but he's on top side of the map anyway, so we'll watch Riz walk down while GIANTX start up their Herald. On the edge of patience here is Closer, but KC are thinking about how they get their angle in.
There's a big old blast coming there, so that'll definitely help him getting in. And Yike snuck over the wall.
He did. They need to see him, or at least Lot needs to go over. I still don't think Close has seen him until...
No?
Now
Okay. I mean, Yike's mites have been pretty stellar over the last 2 days, so I don't know if you want to go toe-to-toe with that Closer, but the reset does come through, so it's a little bit slower on the take, but again, it will still be GIANTX getting this, and they're kind of happy to just, well, slow this one down. The Dragon is up and available, but I don't know what's exactly happening here with Yike. He's going again.
He's
Yeah.
doing it again. Wait, but this time, yeah, that's a vision line, surely, right? Pings are coming down. Teleport used this time by Jackies to get up top. Yike just backs out again. He's playing around with the conditioning of a potential steal, but as you said, Dagda, GIANTX slowly but surely get the Herald of Mir.
It does force Jun and Noah to come across the pit, though, in case something was about to happen, which at least gives a push for Super, or sorry, not for Super, for Kalist in mid. Super played Varus yesterday, so it's in my brain.
Nah, you're
but yeah, so they'll be able to move over with Yike now to just take that mid, the Dragon. So, and also get that bot lane turret. So even though Yike, it looked a little funky, just drawing enough attention to open up plays for KC.
All right, Dragons to trade. Second one for KC here. But still, GIANTX hold this lead after this early game. Now, Artican spawning in 2 minutes. You know exactly which one is going to be. I don't need to tell you at this point. KC also. Yeah, it's definitely Ruiners.
Let's go.
No, even the funky one-killer game we had yesterday, I can't remember which game it was. We still, like, it felt like the right Ruiners game. We still didn't get it. I think it's impossible and competitive. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was one game in LCK that managed to get us, but I can't remember exactly what one it is.
You'd think LPL would have it. I just don't remember LPL having it. Ulti. Oh, Kalist
that connected.
Yeah, that was a funky hitbox.
I think it caught Kalist by surprise as well, but has the cleanse. Jackies, has the Q3.
He buffers,
okay,
that's
nice.
what he does, but the cease and desist also buffered. Yone, is he fair? Start voting in the chat.
He didn't even have to use the E. That was just the rest of his kit, but now Lot going to put on pressure as the Rift Herald is used the mid to crack open that turret, so a lot invested by KC towards that top side, and it's still GIANTX slowly but surely clawing open this gold lead. Yike going to try and make moves on towards Noah in the mid lane, but no ultimate available. It's more just to dissuade Noah from pushing in this wave onto Kalist.
So with that no flash from Jackies though, we'll keep in mind that this upcoming fight, if it is around Artican, maybe becomes a little bit harder. Jackie's got a cooldown on that ultimate to work with as well as he catches top wave. But just note, while I'm yapping away, Noah is the one benefiting in this game. Slowly but surely, CS lead and now 2 items, 1k lead in the 80 carry position. We came into today really talking up Kalist, how well he's assimilated into the league, how well he's debuted in the league as well with the best KDA, with insane performances like we saw yesterday, even the day before, really. This game, he's holding out, he's going on hit Varus, but Noah is the one who's done well so far.
But I think it's more because Kalist has been drawn into dealing with pressure from GX mid lane. Like how often we said, look, Kalist now has to open mid, which gives Noah time on towards a turret, or he gets an extra wave, right? And I think that's really where you've started to open up this gold lead. And now it is going to come back to bite them, where Noah is able to keep control over mid, which is now, as you can look at your screen, essentially opening up Jun and Closer to immediately move in towards top side. And this is the luxury you can afford when your AD carry has that mid-wave push, especially with mid-tower gone. It's just going to be KC losing more and more of this top side jungle.
That patience range is still disgusting for some reason, as KC losing all vision control apart from that ward. Closer just stood there for a second.
Isn't it like thematic though that he just wants to kill you and chases you further than everything else?
He is a bit Dark Soulsy, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's more like the, hey, he wants people to kill and fight and do damage, and then everyone's kind of surprised when he keeps chasing you to kill you, deal damage, and fight.
I guess, yeah, it's on lore. I don't know enough about the lore of these games. Are we still called summoners in this game or not?
No.
Okay.
And also, it's the lore is it's a Noxus general who was in charge of Mordekaiser, I think it was.
Yeah, there is Mordekaiser.
No, Mordekaiser was the general.
Oh, Jordan dead. Big ulti's used. Chains of Corruption and Vile from Yike.
Nicely done by KC. That's a big pick. The one time Closer is not with Jun and they managed to find him. The Jackies trying to push forward, but KC still have to commit onto this. Noah's gone towards that bot side just to pick up Raptors, so not really members here that GX need.
Yike thinking about going in. But remember, I mentioned that Kalist ult's down, Yike's ult's down. Even though Jun is dead, he's now back up and available, and there are some timers on that Chains of Corruption and on the cease and desist. So KC backing away, GIANTX trying to bait in that Artican's being done. And actually now it's going to be started because the resets came through. Wasn't on vision, but this timing is perfect, Dagda.
Kalista had to move back towards mid to push in, and now they look like they should just be able to take it. Vladdy hasn't really spotted out. It's not going that quick there. They will know it's going down, but you do have the Weaver's Wall if you really want to go for this.
Yeah, I mean, there is vision there. You're right, Weaver's Wall going to bring in closer right to the pit, but it doesn't matter. At the edge of patience, they hold it, and they smite Atakan to get the GAs. GIANTX with a big objective in this game.
GX are getting a little jittery there. Force the TP from Lot just to guarantee it, but that's more than worth it. Nicely done by GIANTX, even though they lost a man. KC just weren't in a position to pull the trigger, and with Jun coming back out with that ultimate, sets them up for that take.
Is this the split to start being a GIANTX fan, Dagda? You know, this constant push and pull in my mind with how they've started.
Well, it's like solid early game. Closer and Jackie's playing really well off each other, and then understanding how Jun and Closer work together, great as well. And then you've got what seems like great team fight carries. Jackie's and Noah have actually been spectacular. Noah looks extremely comfortable on the Corki, and here is Jackie's.
Yeah, here he is. Vladdy, seismic shove, but Jackie's close to killing him, flash away. But remember, he's got another life. Yike comes in trying to help out Vladdy, but with the cease and desist seismic shove, Jackie's buys a bit of time. He withdraws, he dies, but look towards bot. Dragon's going to be taken. Soul point, excuse me, it's a bait. It's the second Dragon for GIANTX. And Lot getting the shove to the inner turret here is what the time bought.
I don't know how much you can really do with this though as GIANTX. Could maybe look for the dive. Jackie's his TP back at the mid lane, but there's no real map pressure here, and now there's 5 members.
Look at him. Does Lot care? I mean, he'll just withdraw. There you go. GIANTX back away a little bit. They got the damage down.
But you didn't get the tower, right? And KC haven't invested anything. Now Vladdy's able to answer the wave in mid. You don't have Jackie's ultimate to go for this, so they need to really hard force on this next play to get stuff, but they don't. Oh, 3 versus 5?
Well, they get cleanse onto Kalista. Let's see if it goes any further. Shove into the wall is good. There's damage from Noah. Public execution as well, but the hostile takeover slams Noah and Jun into each other until KC defend their turret. You are right, Dagda, is a low health bar there, but defense is good as Jackie's. He's going to find the turret. Weaver's Wall just zones off the minions.
So nothing really for the Atakan buff. You're held on with both Noah. I think you still has it and Jun, but that's not really the end of the world, is it? Okay, so they die for the turret.
Now we get it.
But I will say, that is like the easiest tier 2 tower to get on the enemy team. So if you've wasted the Atakan buff for that, I think KC are going to be relatively happy about that, and especially with how far ahead GX were. There was no need to try and hard force that. So in this position, JX still in the lead, but I think they really could have done more with that Atakan buff.
Well, I'll be with you on this journey to see where KC go, what KC can do now the fact that it's down. You're exactly right. Baron's up in 15 seconds, and it's something that you've said before, that it's always nice when you have this buff, when you can move it into something like a Baron. You can set up for turn, and then you can bring the team fight in. There's none of that. They're on equal stakes outside of the gold, of course, as near the all-out just pulls that point apart. Vladdy's caught. It's a great ult from Lot, who flashes away as Vladdy looks for his reset, but he won't get bailed out. Closer gets the kill. He runs away. There's a great poppy ult, and Yike is slammed against the wall. A double kill for the old KC jungler. And GIANTX with a brilliant pick.
What a pick in the enemy jungle. Setting up immediately to now go towards the Baron. Kalista gets knocked to high hell as well, so there's just no one to try and answer for this. GIANTX, that's exactly what they needed to do to blow up in this game.
We just snapped to top, and with that pick as well, you know, Vladdy sent packing. Curious to see where it came from, Dagda, as we look at the replay, but Baron down. 7K gold lead. GIANTX putting the steps in place to be the undefeated team in winter.
Yeah, just Lot manages to get on towards Vladdy. We don't get quite to see the start of it, but Vladdy just out of position thanks to Lot being able to get the all-out. Kalista gets taken away as well, which means Yikes in no man's land here, and GX quick to punish. Even Noah, who's pushing in mid, kind of able to stop any sort of escape route. So now with the Baron up minions, GIANTX should be able to finally crack the base of KC.
7.5K. Ignore Dragon, it's not up. Ignore any other objective for once, it's not up. GIANTX, what they do with this Baron, and further to what you said, cracking the base, is what would really cement this game. They're looking for a pick, they're looking for KC to overstep for now, but KC being very defensive in front of this inner turret mid.
Yeah, and I really thought, like, with the AD comp that GX had built, that the amount of plated steel caps you see on KC would really come back to bite them, but GX have been able to open up with enough of a gold lead that they're just outpacing any of the armor that KC can get. And now, GIANTX stepping forward. First tower on this top side going to be falling.
That inner turret, I mean, Jackie steps up. It's 6 scrubs again that's doing the work. Noah shows that as well. So another turret bites the dust. This Red Bull Baron power play is now about to move to 3K as Lot is just shepherding the cannon minion wave in. Yike helps clear it out, but look at what the cannon minion's able to do. That drops 2, and there you go. The threshold of 3K has been broken as Jackie's is looking to shepherd another wave up in topside this time.
Going to use the quick Baron resets to come back out onto the map. Dragon is going to spawn in just a little bit, and that would be not quite the soul, but soul point for our GIANTX.
Yep.
And look, it's a slower pace here, but it's a very controlled game from GIANTX. Like,
oh yeah.
The only criticism I already have is the misuse of Atakan, but apart from that, they have been really clean in how they're picking apart KC.
And then move to 9K now as well. Glad you mentioned Dragon. It'll lead to Soul Point. I know it's a discussion that's been had that like Dragon Soul's not really looked at as much as it was before. At least Dragons are deprioritized to a degree with more objectives on the map. Naturally, that was going to be the case. Chemtech Soul. I know people like the individual Dragon stagger. Soul still...
I think it's just because Atakan is so strong that you can basically crack open a game, and Soul becomes a little bit less needed because it's, hey, I can use Atakan to get Baron, I can use Atakan to dive your turrets, so I don't fully need to worry about Soul, and then even if that doesn't work out for us, we just fall back and get Baron, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's become a little deprioritized, but I think in this game, we will certainly see it become a factor because you've got this Dragon that's now spawned. I don't think quite they'll be able to crack open the base with Baron, unfortunately. The reset's coming through and the focus on towards Dragon, so it will be at least another Baron, if not another Dragon, before GX close out this game.
Well, dagged up. Should I say it? GIANTX closing the game is a big deal, I think, to a lot of people after yesterday. Because after we watched the GIANTX road game,
yeah,
I think I speak for all when I say I want to see a clean end. Not a 59-minute one.
Yeah, this is definitely slower than I think it could have been. It's very risk-averse play. And as long as they don't give an opportunity to let KC come back into this,
yep,
they are fine. But otherwise, they will be kicking themselves that they had an Atakan buff, didn't do a huge amount with this. Now a Dragon as well going over, because you can see, like, Laddie starting to get towards a Rabadon's death cap. You've got 3 items now complete on towards Kalist. Kana starting to be in a position he can really fight, so this is not as, like, clean cut. It's still a very big gold lead, and also coming back towards, like, extra armor stacking starting to come in for key members in KC,
sure.
So.
Chains, cease and desist, flash away, good ulti from close. It means that Targamas can't get anywhere near the fight either, so they just turn for Yike, who is isolated from the rest of his team. Good damage out, but Jackie's went into the Hornet's nest and got stung.
Yeah, it just completely caught out. I thought at that stage Yike was going to fall, but the fact he's able to keep him alive, Targamas keeping him up with the heal and also then the bailout was just enough. And there, we're kind of saying, look, you got to be clean with this GIANTX. That's 1 pick. That's more time for KC. And the gold lead is still there, but it's starting to dwindle a little.
Well, Dagden. Time to take a seat until Baron. Jackie's is up in 25 seconds, and of course, with teleport available, the Baron 5v5 contest is going to be ruthless, but I say that for KC's side because they're playing against the wallet. 3 items now picked up for Talia, by the way.
But the thing is, there isn't actually a huge amount of pressure on the map because, yes, you've got this push, but that's immediately going to be cleared out with still a minute left. No one has actually pushed in this bottom wave on GIANTX's side, so you're just going to have the push from Mbessa move that one out. So when you actually come down towards the mini-map, as this objective spawns, push should be here on this top side for... well, I thought Talia was going to stay there, but you should also have this push starting to come through on the bottom side, and you've got 3 members of KC now opening up on this mid lane as well. So in the grand scheme of things, waves are actually in KC's favor as the objective spawns. Mid lane turn makes it a little bit more difficult, but the fact that Loss is in a position to shove in top and Vladdy didn't stick around there, at least gives them some window to enter into this topside jungle and get vision. But see Kana, he's reset now. He's going to TP in to join the rest team. Actually, going to catch that wave top. So KC can stay as this 4-man unit and deny GX entry into their jungle.
See any deep TP wards, so for Kana, it's not like he can really pick an angle behind GIANTX on this top side for now. He'll have to walk in with the rest of the team while Baron now spawns. Where does the pick come from? Wards denied. This is an objective bounty for KC. Yike did this against G2. He is now required to pull off a steal if GIANTX start this Baron up.
This time there is a goalkeeper goal, though. Jun is here with that ultimate to try and knock him out of the play, so Yike is going to have to work a lot more to try and make that play happen, but I think KC just want to look for the pick.
Jackie's careful. Poke not connecting from Kalist. Remember, on-hit Varus, but still, if he gets a bit of blight, the Q will do enough to hurt. There's also double buffs on every one of GIANTX, so it's going to have to be consistent here as Lot now moves into position. Kana jumps on his head. It's a mega blast cone, so you ignore anything from those tanks while we fight around mid lane.
Jun going in with the Hex Flash, separated. Laddie just using it to try and protect his team, but that's now a big tool down that hasn't really gotten value, so GIANTX getting just these little advantages as Targamas steps forward, nearly runs into closer.
Walking into a choke while they know that Kana has to accept the top lane wave. And look at bot, slow push it looks like as well for GIANTX as we turn our eyes back towards this fight. Closer takes some poke, cares not. Baron's still there as an option, and they've got some wards here to see who's moving behind. Baron's now going to start in Fog of War.
Yeah, you got Lot pushing in on that top end to make sure that the waves are at least in their favor, but this has gone down so quick. It's Kana. Yike can still get in.
Yeah, he can, but he's a little bit late. So ulti comes in as Kalist sends out his own, but Yike is just blown to pieces. No, with the pick.
And nobody goes down. Good call from GIANTX. They burst that so quickly at this stage of the game, thanks to the Yone and the Corki damage. And unfortunately, KC just were not quick enough. Another Baron, though, which was delayed long enough for another Dragon. So it's a potential here for the Soul, the Chemtech Soul, to come through for GIANTX. And if you're spending time as GIANTX, honestly, on this Dragon, I think KC are kind of happy with it because you won't be spending time on their Nexus turrets. Jackie's, just to be careful he's not caught. Still the public execution available for Kana.
Surely Ambessa can't gap close that much. Oh, yeah.
Yone versus Ambessa. The eternal struggle as to who can get more mobility there.
Imagine not having a dash this year. You know, isn't that crazy? Jackie's took a bit of burn damage, but I'm watching Noah channel up the bottom side wave. Targamas poked out a little bit as well. Good from Jun, but the whole team's here now. He has to flash away. It's from Yike that he must fear, but Noah's damage is immense. It's a 4-item Corki now, who's helped by the rest of GIANTX getting in this bot wave.
Laddie just trying to get rid of the wave, but the Baron of Creeps are not falling easy. The cannon not going to be able to take it down. Kana able to finish that one off, but a stiff breeze will blow over that bot lane turret, and now you got to deal with mid as well.
They're carrying in multiple waves, so GIANTX with this Baron buff. You look at top, you look at mid now. Lot is just making sure this cannon does a bit of damage. Kana clears it out as this next wave in bot is going to be crucial. GIANTX getting close to finally cracking the base in this game.
Still, just the cannon going to come through, so...
Seismic Shove is on to close to everything used, but the poppy off from John was sexy, man. That was brilliant. Now any steadfast presence left over, you got to ask that from KC's angle as Noah pokes out rocket after rocket, and one sent out a phosphorus bomb. If they're close enough will hurt as well, but an inhibitor to drop down from GIANTX, poking around, moving between things like the seismic shove, a double inhibitor to boot, make that 3 when top comes in.
Yeah, Jackie's going to be able to finish that one off. It feels like it's done and done in this game for KC.
Almost found it, but can he go any further? Lot cares not, and he flashes out of the end. Maybe I was wrong. GIANTX getting a bit antsy, but they get the turret from it because 3 waves have added the pressure in as Jackie's underneath has to flash. He was a soul unbound, easily found. 3 inhibitors down, but GIANTX lost all their summoners.
Lot has TP'd into the middle of KC and now is immediately going to have to run away, but the base is just gone.
It is gone.
There's nothing left. Now, 2 and a bit minutes, you will get to respawn. Do you have 2 and a bit minutes? I'm not entirely sure, because every inhibitor is down. GIANTX can walk at your Nexus, and team fights have not been looking good for KC thus far, and you've now got to try and defend your Nexus instead of a turret.
Hoping for some kind of miracle here. GIANTX a moment away from being our 3-0 team, our only 3-0 team, by the way.
And the first time in the organization's history that they will open a week with a 3-0 victory. It feels like, I mean, the funny thing is, the best this organization's ever placed is second in summer 2023, and they went 0-3 to open that week. So we are in completely uncharted territories when it comes to GIANTX right now.
A crazy start, isn't it? You know, G2 went 0-2. And GIANTX are about to go 0-3. The ult sent in. Look at Jackie's a fate sealed and the deal gone with it as well. Tarkmas ulti comes out late, but GIANTX are taking no more damage. An all out from Lot. When you ask, is there anything from the trolley? And GIANTX in week 1 of the LEC will take not only the Lot, but they'll take KC down and prove that this team, with their roster swaps, could be looking at brand new horizons.
GX end the week at 3-0.